Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is our lesson 3, tips and markup. And also, by the way, make sure you can come back and check this off when you finish the lesson to see if you actually completed the task for today, okay? Please write in your best handwriting, and you can use colors if you need to at home, and make sure that you pause, and please do not watch the videos at a fast forward speed. It is so tempting to do that, but please, it's easier to watch it once through at normal speed and then understand it than to watch it super fast and then you have to come back and rewatch the parts that you don't understand. Okay, here we go. So for gratuity, it means the same thing as tip. So you get to just combine this as one definition. They're the same things. They're just called two different names sometimes. And you'll see it at the bottom of your receipt sometimes when you go to a restaurant and eat, because it's an additional amount of money that you are paying in return for a service. So like when you go to the restaurant, you most commonly see that because the service you're getting is from your waiter or waitress helping you out and bringing things to your table and cleaning things off for you. So they're going to add that tip onto your bill, because you're not just paying for the food, you're also paying for that service. Sometimes a percent of the service cost. I'm just going to write into these lines for tip as well, because they're all the same definition. The total amount that you're going to pay at the end of the day is the cost of the service or the meal or the receipt plus the tip. Okay, so you have to always add the tip onto your total to see what you're paying as your grand total. Okay, so here we have 3 definitions: markup, selling point, price, and wholesale cost. And on the side, I'm going to write a little summary so you can kind of have all 3 clear in your head, that the wholesale plus the markup equals the selling price. And I'll explain that in a second. So the wholesale is the amount that the store actually pays for an item. Oops. So maybe you're looking at buying a Xbox from a store, and you see the price tag on there, but that's not what the store bought it for. Like, they bought it for a lot cheaper because they're buying it at a wholesale, like they're buying a lot of them at the same time. So they bought it for a certain price, and then they're going to add some extra amount onto it and make it more expensive, and that's going to be giving you the total selling price that you see at the end. And the amount they add onto it is called the markup, and they do this in order so that they can make a profit. So in order to make a profit, stores typically sell the items for more than what they pay for them. And that makes sense because if they bought an orange for $5 and then they sell it for $5 and they're not really making any money off of that, so they're gonna sell it for more. And so that amount increase, that extra amount that they added on to the wholesale price, that is called the markup. The amount increase is called markup. Okay. So then once they add on that extra amount, some amount they decided, probably lots of people decided at lots of meetings, they then come up with the selling price. And there's lots of competition, right? Like there's Target, there's Walmart, there's Sam's, there's like so many different stores you can buy, Amazon. So that selling price and that markup, you know, they're constantly researching and comparing it to the other competitors to decide what is the best selling price they can have so that it's competitive enough where you'll buy it, but then there's enough markup where they're going to make money off of it. So selling price is that final amount that you actually pay and that you see labeled at the store or printed on your receipt. The amount the customer pays for an item. Okay, so let's go ahead and try question number 1. A bill for a group of 8 people at a restaurant is $125 before the tip was added. So this is my original amount. And then the group wants to add an 18% tip. That's nice that the group wants to do that. Usually if you already have 8 people at a restaurant, they're just going to tag that 18% tip onto your bill and make you pay extra gratuity. And then it says, what will be the total bill including the tip? Okay, so I want to find 18% of some amount. If you want to set up our proportion, that's great. Some kind of tax, the tax amount, some part out of our total bill 125 is going to be the same as 18 out of 100 because we're looking at 18%. And in percentages out of 100. And then you can do your hack and say, okay, 100 times 1.25 gives me 125. So I'm going to multiply that top part by 1.25 as well. And then you can do your calculations. Off to the side. 8 times 5 is going to give you 40. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 4 more is 20. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 2 more is 10. Drop a 0, and then do the same for this. And I'm working all this out so you can check it, but if you want to pause first and do it just to see what you get, that's better. 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 1 is 1. Giant plus sign, add down. And then count your decimals. So there's 2 numbers after the decimal. So I'm going to leave 2 numbers after my decimal. And that is my total tip, not my total bill. Okay. And then don't forget that to find your final total, you take the bill, which is $125, add your tip, which is 22.50. Line it all up, and you should get 147. Okay. And if this is a normal problem in the test where you're not asked to write out all the strategies, then you can of course jump to the hack that I showed you in the last video, where you're saying, okay, if I'm trying to find 18% of some amount, I'm going to turn this percent to a decimal. So a whole number has a decimal here. To the left, I get 0.18, and then I multiply by what I'm trying to find 18% of. and then you should still get the same thing, 22.5, and then you can add it to your bill and get your total. Okay? All right. Scooch to, or turn the page to the next one. We have a wholesale cost for the shirt is $17. That's how much the store paid for this item themselves. This is not what you are paying for the shirt. Then the store manager plans to mark up the shirts, so they want to slap on another 125% onto that $17. And then you have to find your selling price. And if that is throwing you off, you can write the little equation I gave you at the beginning. The wholesale price plus your markup is going to equal your total selling price. Okay, and then that way I can keep neat and say, okay, that was $17. My markup is 125 of that. And remember the hack we just did. Take your decimal for a whole number. The decimal is after that last number. To the left twice. And I get 1.25. 125% of 17 is the same as 1.25 times 17. And then you can pause the video, go off to the side, see what you get for that, and unpause. Okay, welcome back. You should have gotten $21.25, and that's my markup. And when you put it together, that's going to give you your total selling price of $38.25. Okay, just make sure that you're able to keep up with all the multiplication of the decimals and the adding on the test, because time and speed is what we're working on. This concept may not be difficult for you, and you may have already done percentages last year and understand the concept, but you need to make sure you are able to get through the calculations. Okay, so I want you to actually do example 2 by yourself. You can scribble, this is a repeat print, misprint, and then go ahead and unpause and see if you're able to get the calculations yourself. Okay, welcome back to checking the answer. This car cost this amount, and then he found out that the wholesale price was actually only this amount. So he wants to know what is that percent of markup that the dealership did. So let's see how much increase it is from the wholesale price to the selling price. So I'm going to take their difference. When I do that, you should get $2,099.50. Okay. And if I want to find what is that percent of markup, this is the markup. To find its percent, I want to know what part of this of the whole it is. So that is the part. What is the whole? I have to take the amount of the car at the wholesale cost. Okay, because if you think back to this problem over here, when we are finding 125% is how much I wanted to mark up. I found that percentage of the original amount. So the amount increase over the original amount tells me that percentage of increase from the original amount, the markup. Okay. And then when you do that calculation off to the side, you should have gotten 0.095. That is a decimal number answer. But if I want to change it back to what it looked like when it was a percent, instead of moving it to the left, this is the answer after it was moved to the left, So I want to move it back to the right. And I'm going to get 9.5%.